Massive fight would be Ilia versus Islam too. Well, the other thing is too is that Islam moves up, and obviously if Islam won the title, you know, you immediately have a super fight with him. And
I do like the dough. I'm in this zone until I can clear my slate. It's looking like I'm headed to the Oval Office again. So that's where I'm heading next.
If Belal would have won, Islam would have fought Ilia. That was the plan. He would have fought Ilia. 100%, like a lot of people saying all this stuff. He would have fought Ilia.
Islam returning to 155 is a real stretch for me. I think that Islam is going to be a lot like Ilia, which is, hey, this is great. Thank goodness I got here. Most unpleasant experience that Islam has had in the sport is just beating the scale at 155. I'm very confident in telling you guys, if Islam has success at 170 and becomes the champion, that whatever dreams you have of Islam versus Ilia haven't gotten closer, they got further apart. If you have a dream of seeing Islam versus Ilia, it's very unlikely, but the best way to get there would be if Islam was to lose at 170.
Just when fans were losing hope of ever seeing Islam versus Ilia, Dana White has reignited the excitement by revealing that this blockbuster fight could still become a reality. During a recent podcast, Dana White brought up the possibility of a blockbuster showdown between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev, hinting at a fight that could electrify the entire sport. He teases the kind of moment that would have fans everywhere counting down the days, showing just how big things could get if the right pieces fall into place.
another massive fight would be Ilia versus Islam too.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, Salim is obsessed with that fight.
Oh, really?
He's obsessed with it. And I tell him, I'm like, but they both got to win more fights in their division first, right? That's kind of how you do it, right? When it's like they both run through their division, and then it's like you're in the position where it's like, I gotta make this. That's what happened with Volk Islam, right?
Well, the other thing is too is that Islam moves up, and obviously if Islam won the title, you know, you immediately have a super fight with him and Ilia. So
could that be
I
if
don't
Islam
know.
gets one victory? Could that potentially happen?
You have to see. It's one thing to sit around. This is what the media always tries to do: sit around and talk about these fights before they happen, or, you know, hypothetically speaking. I don't like hypothetical. These are options that we have if things play out that way, but you never know what's going to happen.
Dana White also talks about being blown away by Ilia Topuria's last 3 fights, hinting at a level of confidence and precision that has shocked the fight world. He points to these dominant moments as proof that Ilia is turning into a true superstar right before everyone's eyes.
What did you think about Ilia's last performance?
Incredible. Absolutely unbelievable.
You guys probably knew. I mean, I always saw him as being like a big star, but has that surprised you at all? How dominant he's been?
Yeah. I mean, you know, you don't know until it plays out, and then calling the round, calling how he's going to do it, and doing it to the guys that he's done it to is unbelievable. You know, Volk, Holloway, and now Charles.
Meanwhile, Islam's manager, Ali Abdelaziz, hints at the wild twists behind the scenes that almost led to an Islam versus Ilia showdown, revealing how close fans were to seeing that clash. He teases the excitement of Islam now facing JDM in a massive US arena, setting the stage for a fight that feels like a blockbuster event waiting to explode.
If Belal would have won, Islam would have fought Ilia. That was the plan. He would have fought Ilia. 100%, like a lot of people saying all this stuff. He would have fought Ilia.
Hunter went over to Dagestan.
2-3 weeks. I sent him to Dagestan.
You sent him 2-3 weeks, 2-3 years, forget?
I said, Islam said, I will not fight Belal. But, you know, Belal ended up losing. Islam fight in Mandalena. I truly believe Islam is going to beat him. It's not going to be in Abu Dhabi.
I don't know where
Makhachev is not going to be in Abu Dhabi.
I don't know where the fight's going to take place yet.
I can tell you. It would take a place in the US.
Really? Okay.
In a big arena. One of the biggest arenas on the planet.
UFC legend Daniel Cormier also talks about the explosive potential between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev, suggesting they could create a rivalry that lights up the entire world. He teases the idea that these two fighters might need each other to reach true global superstardom, setting up a storyline fans would follow with every heartbeat.
And I was talking to someone today about it. I said, while I may not have the greatest relationship with Conor McGregor, partly because of Khabib and his relationship with Conor McGregor, I respect and appreciate him for being that guy for my brother Khabib. Because without Conor McGregor, Khabib doesn't go to the moon. Right? You need that guy. And I think Ilia Topuria and Islam might be that for each other. So while you may not like each other, you may need each other to go to the next level. So I appreciate Conor for helping Khabib achieve the life that he has today. Because before the Conor McGregor fight, he was great. We all loved him on the mixed martial arts level. Right after Conor McGregor, he was a global superstar.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Conor McGregor hints at a massive return during the UFC White House event, sparking wild anticipation about what he might do next. He stirs up the excitement with talk of big stages and even bigger moments, making fans wonder what kind of show he plans to put on this time.
I do like the dough. I'm in this zone until I can clear my slate. It's looking like I'm headed to the Oval Office again. So that's where I'm heading next. But I let these men fight for this one, and I'll support them and back them all the way.
Moreover, Ali Abdelaziz shares his raw and unfiltered opinion on Conor McGregor, hinting at the chaos and controversy that always surround McGregor's name. He calls out the true character behind the fame, adding fuel to the fire and keeping fans locked in on every word whenever McGregor is mentioned.
He's a piece of shit, you know. You're a piece of shit.
What do you think has been the biggest fight in UFC?
Conor, Habib, there's no doubt. It's not even close.
Conor McGregor did say a lot of shit about you.
Just a hooligan. He doesn't give a crap about nothing but himself or his ego. They said money and fame change people. I disagree. I think money and fame show who you really are. Maybe this McGregor guy at the beginning was a good guy, but when you really give him this power, this money, show who he is. He's a piece of shit. You know? When you're a piece of shit, you're a piece of shit. Like it's fact. It's fact.
On the other hand, Stephen Thompson shares his honest take on Islam Makhachev jumping to welterweight, hinting at the frustration bubbling among the division's top contenders. He points to the crowded line of hungry fighters already waiting for their shot, stirring up talk about who truly deserves the big opportunities.
What are your thoughts on Islam making this move and how he matches up with JDM?
Well, number one, if I was in the top 5, I would be very upset that this guy who just got the title is already looking at somebody from a different division. Like, you know, if it was me, who if I'm in the top 5, more deserving than, you know, this guy coming up, like I've been waiting here. Where's the Shavkat Rakhmanovs? Where's the Ian Garys? Where are the, you know, these guys that Usman, who's been in the mix, is back in the mix, if you will, after beating Buckley. Like, these guys, I think, are more deserving of it because they've been there. Like, if it was me, I would want JDM to like fight at least one more time or 2 more times if we're looking at somebody from a different weight class.
Stephen Thompson hints at the huge challenge waiting for Islam Makhachev if he faces JDM, teasing a battle where every skill will be tested to the limit. He paints a picture of a clash that could push Islam further than ever before, with fans eager to see if he can handle such a dangerous and relentless opponent.
Now, I think it's a good fight. I think it's a very tough fight for Islam Makhachev coming up. A bigger guy, a guy with great takedown defense, and a guy that's fought, who just won the title from somebody very similar to himself in Bilal Muhammad, cardio for days, strong grappling background. I do believe that Islam has a better striking than Usman, than Bilal does. So I think that would be interesting. But I think it's a very tough fight for Islam, for sure.
On the other hand, Max Holloway teases a potential rematch with Ilia Topuria at 155, sparking excitement about unfinished business and fresh rivalries. He hints at deep history and personal stakes that could turn this into one of the most electric fights on the horizon, leaving fans buzzing about what might unfold when they finally meet again.
Between you two at 55, what do you think would be different?
We just have to find out, right? We're gonna, people keep saying what I said that fight. We're gonna find out Saturday night, so a 55 fight, we just gonna have to find out, you know. So first things first, I was over the moon, you know. A lot of people thought so. I'd be like, oh my god, what the hell, why is he coming to 55? I was over the moon when he announced he's coming to 55, and then when I found out he got the title shot, I was like, oh my gosh. I think I was the happiest man alive. I have history with 2 guys. They're figuring out my fight, you know what I mean? We had this BMF title, so I know old boy likes walking around with a BMF title, but you know, if he wants an authentic one, you know where to find me, you know. First things first is Dustin Poirier, like I said, but there's a lot of history.
Max Holloway talks about the importance of creating big moments in the UFC, hinting at how one electrifying performance can change everything. He sparks curiosity about what could be next, leaving fans wondering if a title shot could be waiting for him sooner than anyone expects.
You're only as good as your last fight, man, and you know UFC is about moments, man. You go out there, you know, and make a moment, just like with the 300, you know what I mean? We had the chances of making moments, and you know, if I can go out there and get a moment, get everybody excited about it, who's to say that not fighting for a title come at the end of the year or early next year, you know?
However, Ilia Topuria is already looking ahead, making it clear that dominating 2 divisions isn't enough for him. He's eyeing a move to welterweight if Islam Makhachev takes that belt, driven to chase greatness and build a legacy as a 3-division champion. It's a bold move that shows just how fearless and ambitious Ilia truly is.
If Islam becomes the welterweight world champion, for sure I'm gonna push for that shot also, and I will move to the welterweight division.
Ilia Topuria reveals he wants to face Islam Makhachev at 170 instead of lightweight, showing just how big his ambitions really are. He's thinking beyond 1 division, aiming to conquer welterweight and claim a 3rd UFC title, proving he's not just chasing wins but true greatness.
Islam Makhachev did an interview and said he's not ruling out coming back down to 155. Would you rather fight him at 170 to get that 3rd title, or would you be willing to fight him at 55 because that's the division that people say he might be the best at?
It would be much better for me to fight him in 170, and I will beat him and get the 3rd title.
Apart from Islam, the only other fight that makes sense to Ilia right now is Paddy Pimblett. After becoming the champion, Ilia talks about facing Paddy Pimblett next, seeing it as the perfect opportunity to make a huge statement in front of the fans. He views it as an easy fight where he can completely dominate and prove just how far ahead he is, turning the matchup into a showcase of his skills and confidence.
What is going on with Paddy?
With Paddy, all the fans around the world, I think that they want to see that fight. And at the same time, I have to be honest, I think it's one of the easiest fights that I could have in the lightweight division. I don't know, I can do with him whatever I want to do in reality. It's very excited fight for the fans.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna enjoy a lot the whole process, and at the same time, it's a fight where I'm gonna be able to shine once again.
Ilia Topuria shows massive confidence about a potential fight with Paddy Pimblett, saying it wouldn't even make it to the 2nd round. He's so certain of his skills that he even talks about picking a flashy submission just to entertain the fans, making it clear he wants to prove he's on another level and can finish the fight any way he chooses.
How would you win? When would you win? Give us some of that Ilia prediction magic.
Against Paddy?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to think about it. I promise you, I could choose the way I want to finish.
First round?
Be like, that's for sure. He's not gonna stay there for more than 1 round with me. But I don't know, maybe it's gonna be cool to submit him in the ground with a triangle choke from the mount, something like that. Like, as I told him, put my in his forehead.
Meanwhile, Alexander Volkanovski opens up about the impact of facing Islam Makhachev, hinting at just how powerful and dangerous Islam truly is. He highlights the difference in how it felt compared to Ilia's knockout, adding another layer of intrigue around Islam's striking power and the kind of threat he brings to the cage.
From the Islam, I feel like I had more of a concussion from the Islam one.
Yeah,
even though I was knocked out longer with Ilia,
like
I had a lot more of the symptoms than that with the Islam one. So I probably should have had more of a protocol.
Alexander Volkanovski talks about Jack Della Maddalena's evolution, sparking excitement over how his recent win against Belal Muhammad might set the stage for a huge clash with Islam Makhachev. He points to Jack's improved takedown defense and suggests this new version could pose a real threat to even the most dominant wrestlers, leaving fans eager to see if he can rise to the challenge against Islam's elite grappling.
Islam Makhachev is going to be fighting Jack Della Maddalena. How do you think those two match up?
I think Jack's fight against Belal was a perfect fight for leading into that. Just purely, you take a lot out of stop and takedowns, because again, there's every fighter's still going to have little doubts that are going to creep in. You know, I'm sure Jack was going through that, being like, all right, like, you know, worried about, you know, what if he takes me down and all that. But the fact that he was able to stop it and feel so comfortable, I guarantee you he's leveled up again. His confidence in his takedowns has just went up significantly leading into this fight. I think his confidence is going to be at a whole nother level. So through camp, like, I guarantee you if he's back in training right now, people trying to take him down are going to find it almost impossible. You know, only the top guys are going to have a chance of taking him down, and they're going to have a very hard time even holding him down.
Alexander Volkanovski also shared his thoughts on a possible showdown between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria, noting that while Islam's complete skill set makes him incredibly dangerous, Ilia's explosive knockout power is the real wild card. Volk emphasizes how Ilia's ability to end a fight in an instant is exactly what makes this matchup so exciting and unpredictable for fans.
How would you see that fight going between Islam and Ilia?
Yeah, I mean, like Islam's really good, you know what I mean? But again, Ilia's the type of guy that he could knock out anyone. So he's got power in them hands, you know what I mean? Everyone knows that. You go in there fighting him, you know that that's his chance of winning.
Furthermore, Alexander Volkanovski surprises everyone by calling Ilia Topuria the biggest threat to Islam Makhachev. After facing both fighters himself, Volk knows exactly how dangerous they are, and he points to Ilia's explosive knockout power as the weapon that could truly shake up Islam's reign.
They do fight, who wins?
Look, the thing is with Ilia, he is a dangerous fighter and he can catch anyone. You know, if he goes there and he's stoic and he's, you know, even if the fight's not going his way, he will not eventually get it, but he's going to keep trying to find it. You know, the later rounds are going to get harder for him, but, you know, if he was to land, he could definitely knock him out.
On the other hand, Islam Makhachev is only focused on his upcoming fight in the 170 weight class. He talks about Jack Della Maddalena with real respect, recognizing how far Jack has come and the dangerous skill set he brings now. Even so, Islam's quiet confidence suggests he's ready to show exactly who owns the welterweight division, and he makes it clear he has no intention of leaving it in the judges' hands.
Do you think he's going to be a hard fight for you? I know he said he wants to get one back for Alexander Volkanovski here.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard fight. Honestly, it's gonna be. I saw his fight against Bilal. He is good, man. He is good. When he beginning fighting in UFC, he had a problem with the wrestling, but now he's improved because I see training a lot with the wrestlers, with the grapplers, and that's why he's a champion right now, and he's good everywhere. But we will see who is the best fighter in the world.
Yeah,
very soon.
Yeah.
And it's going very quick.
Meanwhile, Craig Jones shares his bold take on Islam's next big challenge, suggesting that this matchup might push Islam to its absolute limits like never before. He points out why Jack's unpredictable style could completely change the game, leaving fans wondering if Islam can truly handle this wild new test.
How do you think the fight against Islam goes?
I think it's a super difficult fight for Islam, this one. He's like, obviously he's faced Volk twice. We'll forget about the second one, but the first one, very competitive with the grappling. And now we're talking about he's facing a guy that's some of the best scrambling ability, I think, period, in all of MMA, and some of the most unorthodox grappling. And I think that's what Belal struggled with. Belal really just sticks to a blueprint. The blueprint obviously works very well, but in terms of creativity in what Belal does, I think it's pretty strict. Jack, as you saw in that fight, some of his off balances and grip breaks and some of the things he does, it's really hard to prepare for that.
Craig Jones also talks about a hidden advantage that might shock everyone when Islam steps into the cage. He suggests there's something in Jack's game that could flip the script completely and sounds more confident than ever that a huge surprise could be on the horizon.
Islam, the size difference is going to be quite a lot bigger than people think. And we've seen how Volk did on the ground and how much Islam struggled with him in the grappling exchanges. And having seen Jack and Volks work together, seeing the skill sets, like, this is a perfect one. The UFC want guys that stand and bang. I'm trying to still help them out, even though potentially enemies.
Do you feel confident about this one?
Very, very confident for this one.
Jorge Masvidal shares his bold prediction on this high-stakes showdown, suggesting why Islam might have the upper hand while still leaving room for a shocking upset. He sparks the idea of a war where Jack's true potential could finally be unleashed, making fans eager to see if he can pull off the ultimate surprise.
I've seen Islam, bro. He's a big guy. He's sucking out a lot of weight to get to 55. I think he might start doing better at 70. Problem is, though, Jack is special. We're gonna see just how special he is if he beats Islam Jack, #1 pound for. Wow, that's impressive. You know, I'm leaning towards Islam, brother.
Oh, really?
You know, but I really think it's gonna be a tough fight for him, but a great fight, man.
Jack was able to defend takedown attempts by Belal.
Belal has the best cardio in MMA, but Belal doesn't have Islam's technique. Not same technique. Not same. Very good, very aggressive. Belal never stops. A dog. Attack. But Islam is like smart, man. Boom. You know, Islam's level of wrestling is above. His stand-up game is improving. I don't think he could go stand-up in the beginning with Jack. Jack has way better hands, way better range, faster, stronger. but as the rounds go on later and later, he could do.
Dustin Poirier also breaks down what could happen if Jack Della Maddalena and Islam Makhachev meet, saying it all comes down to those critical early moments. He points out that if Jack can stuff the takedowns, his sharp boxing and physicality could seriously test Islam like never before. Dustin also highlights how Islam's striking, though awkward at times, becomes effective because of the constant takedown threat hanging over his opponents.
Do you think he beats Jack Della Maddalena?
I think we'll find out first, second round how much trouble he has getting him down. I think if he gets those takedowns, he's gonna get the win. If Jack can stop those takedowns, which he does have good takedown defense, I think the boxing and the size could wear on Islam and give him some problems. But his striking's, awkward and different. You have to worry so much about the takedown. You can't plant your feet and throw off those number combinations and really rip and sit on your punches because he's going to change levels. So it changes the way you fight. Well, for me, it did. I'm speaking from experience. So we'll see how Jack approaches and how Jack executes out there. But if you're worried about takedowns, your shots are different. You're not sitting on everything and standing in front of the guy. You're trying to move and be light on your feet. I think the first 2 rounds will tell us how this fight's gonna go.
Robert Whittaker opens up about the big question mark around Islam Makhachev's move to welterweight, knowing that stepping up always brings new challenges and uncertainties. Still, Whittaker makes it clear he has total faith in Islam's abilities, confidently saying Islam can dominate the welterweight division as well.
But like I said, it is hard to try to get like an accurate gauge on what it's going to look like, not knowing how Islam is going to look when he moves up. Okay, it's always the question everybody asks when anybody is moving up a weight division or down a weight division. Okay, there's so many unknowns involved. But saying that, I think that Islam can do everything that Belal does, but way better. Okay, way better.
Philip Rowe doesn't hold back when talking about a potential clash between Jack Della Maddalena and Islam Makhachev. He boldly predicts that Jack's size and power would be too much, saying Islam isn't big enough for welterweight and would get overwhelmed once Jack gets back to his feet. Rowe sees Jack not just winning, but stopping Islam in a statement-making finish.
Philip Rowe, what's cracking, man?
Chilling.
Hey, now listen, you're welterweight, you've been in the game a long time. Islam moving up to 170. Is he big enough for 170?
My personal opinion, I don't think he is, but he's a champ. We'll see when he's there. You know what I'm saying? He has a fight. He's fighting the champ. That's the best 170 in the world right now, right? So we'll see.
So you don't think he has the size, but how do you think he does in the fight versus JDM?
I personally think JDM beats him. I think JDM will be able to get up if he does take him down. I don't think he'll be able to take JDM shots. I think personally he'll stop Islam.
Moreover, Dan Hardy hypes up the fight between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena, saying it's one of the most exciting matchups today, right behind Jones versus Aspinall. He's excited to see Islam move up to welterweight, but also wonders if the UFC will let him keep his lightweight belt since they don't like double champs lately.
I thought he was very, very impressive. It would be awesome to see Makhachev move up and fight him. I did see that Makhachev said he's not gonna relinquish his lightweight belt. So I don't know how that's gonna fly with the UFC because I think they're putting a stop on double champs now, aren't they? But it would be a fight I would love to see. That's probably one of the best super fights you could make right now, aside from obviously John Jones against Tom Aspinall, which is the blockbuster.
So this is all we have from today's video, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Share your thoughts and predictions about this fight in the comments section, and subscribe to our channel to get more updates about this highly anticipated encounter.